Guys, I have a confession to make. I haven't played Kelly's Caves 3. In fact, I hadn't played any of Kelly's side-scrolling adventure games before diving into this brand new 4th installment. I figured it wouldn't matter much, but part of me worried that it would be like that time that I started watching The Sopranos halfway through and had no idea what was going on. The good news is that I had no problem figuring out what was going on in this delightful new platformer. But the bad news is that now all I want to do is binge watch The Sopranos. Ugh, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. In her newest adventure, Kelly is on a mission to cure her friend Rupert of a terrible curse. This turns into a globe-trotting quest in order to find a special amulet that supposedly holds the key to Rupert's survival. This turns into a fairly straightforward action platformer that sees us killing bosses, teaming up with new friends, and discovering a brand new arch nemesis. VDO calls it Kelly's biggest adventure yet, and I'm just gonna have to take their word for that. Kelly's Caves 4 feels like a cross between Mega Man and Turrican. Her goal is to search through a series of bite-sized levels in order to find treasure chests, power-ups, and eventually the exit to the next room. These levels are full of platforming challenges and hidden areas, all of which is made easier to traverse thanks to a triple jump upgrade Kelly earns early in the game. Once she's fully explored the stage, we'll come face to face with one of 11 nasty bosses that'll test your memorization skills. If we're being honest, this description could apply to a whole bunch of retro-themed platformers. But what keeps Kelly's Caves 4 from being just another action game is that it's always a little deeper than it lets on. Perhaps it's because this is Kelly's 4th outing, but there's a confidence in the execution you don't see in a lot of indie platformers. One thing I like is that there are a lot of weapons to use, including a shotgun, sniper rifle, and even a deadly boomerang. Even better, all of these weapons can be leveled up with use, not unlike what we get in a role-playing game like Skyrim. There are also all kinds of upgrades and powers that you can buy in the store, as well as a crafting system that lets you customize the weapons even more. It's also refreshing to see stages that are not only diverse, but also have a sense of humor. This is the kind of game where you'll go from shooting down evil chefs in the middle of the ocean to taking down soccer players in the jungle. I was also impressed with the size of these stages. Sure, you can find the fastest way to the exit, but if you're looking around, you can find a whole bunch of completely optional rooms worth exploring. The problem is that none of this is especially difficult. The game starts off easy and never ramps up the challenge. In fact, there's a case to be made that it only gets easier as you level up Kelly and her many weapons. There came a point where I wasn't that worried about taking damage, since there are health pickups everywhere and I had already purchased a power-up that replenishes my health gauge every few seconds. With little worry of dying, I found the last few stages to be a bit of a snooze. I also wish there was something unique and defining about Kelly's Caves 4. Yes, this is a great playing action platformer that gets all the fundamentals right, but it doesn't really strive to do anything new or groundbreaking. Look, it's hard to be disappointed with a game executed this well, but it's straightforward to a fault. It's just a fun action game, nothing more, nothing less. You don't need to have played the first 3 games to enjoy Kelly's Caves 4. This delightful new run-and-gun shoot-'em-up has a great look, responsive gameplay, nearly a dozen fun boss fights, and all kinds of hidden rooms to unearth. And while you've seen a lot of these ideas before, there's enough depth, charm, and content to make this sequel worth playing. I'm suddenly excited to see what happens in Kelly's Caves 5. Hey, thanks for watching our review. So here's the question I have for you. How often do you start a series from the very beginning? I guess what I'm wondering is if you feel the need to start from the very first game, or if you have no problem jumping in on one of the sequels, like I just did with Kelly's Caves 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on a bunch of reviews. Plus, don't miss the second episode of Review Rewind on Friday. We have a busy month ahead of us, so I recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.